For too long, mythologies have been confused with fiction. While myths might not be everyone's truth, fiction is no one's. Mythologies are small excerpts from religious books, discussions, or sermons. While their origin is muddy, their morals and messages are always clear as day. Some of these mythologies have stayed with us over the course of centuries, while others have been lost in translation. Some are outdated and hardly understandable, while others exhibit the clarity seen as missing in the present society as well. These mythical tales speak to us of culture, relationships, religion, and the lifestyle of our ancestors. Even if we do not revert to the ways of the past, it must not be forgotten to never be repeated. The authenticity and verification of all these stories are not always feasible. However, similar references and familiar characters help us to draw meaningful conclusions. Whether we talk about Zeus or Indra, their shared characteristics allow us to sketch some parallels. Let us talk about different mythologies and their concepts of kings and queens. While not every legend has a hero, some do. Likewise, while not every mythology has a king, we discuss only those who do today. Number 1. West African mythology. Africa is a land of culture, abundance, and folktales. As a result, there are many tribes to exist that follow different beliefs. Though with minor changes, they worship other gods and perform various rituals. Sango is the most powerful god in Western African mythology because of his strength and ruthless judgment against evil. He is shown to carry a double-headed axe. He is the god of thunderstorms and can induce lightning at his will. He is also the god of protection, vengeance, social stability, etc. Number 2. Sumerian mythology. Sumerians were the first literate civilization to exist in the ancient Mesopotamian civilization. They were educated and religious and had a deep faith in the ways of nature and their gods. They believed that everything happened by the will of their divine forces. Sumerians believed in many divine powers, but Enlil was worshipped that way when it came to the king of gods. He is also known to be the lord of the air. Enlil had an essential role in the embodiment of energy and force and authority. He was also the god of agriculture. Number 3. Japanese mythology. Japanese mythology revolves around several divine beings, including gods, goddesses, and spirits. The mythologies concern the world's creation and foundation of the islands of Japan, and the activities of deities, humans, animals, spirits, and magical creatures. Although there are many revered gods in Japanese culture, the most feared and powerful goddess in Japanese mythology is called Amaterasu. Amaterasu's name indicates that she was a sun goddess shining from heaven. The story narrates how she shuts herself away in a cave. She does this to demonstrate the extent of her power. Amaterasu's younger brother, Susanoo, wreaks havoc in the divine realm. This is when Amaterasu hides in a cavern, plunging heaven and the world into darkness, which causes all kinds of disasters. Number 4. Greek mythology, Zeus. Greek mythology is a collection of all the folk stories and tales passing through the generations. Greeks include different gods and goddesses along with monsters, heroes, and villains in their mythological stories. Zeus, the god of the sky, is the most feared and loved in Greek mythology. He had overthrown the Titans and made himself the ruler of the world. His brothers were Poseidon, god of the seas, and Hades, god of death and the underworld. Together they are known as the Big Three. For the Greeks, Zeus is the most powerful Greek god, the ruler, protector, and father of all gods. Number 5. Egyptian mythology. Egyptian mythology amalgamates all the mythical and folk stories from ancient Egypt. Much can be gathered about Egyptian culture from a time when people followed a different approach to life compared to today. They portray and exhibit the deep-seated value systems and cultural beliefs of the people of ancient Egypt. The most critical god in Egyptian mythology is the sun god Ra. He is said to have been the first god of all and the one responsible for creating the entire universe. Ra is depicted as the all-powerful being who manifests the earth, heaven, and the underworld. Furthermore, it is said that through Ra, all the other gods and goddesses were created in the universe. Number 6. Inuit Eskimo mythology. Inuit myths and legends are informative, amusing, and insightful. The Inuit are those who occupy the areas of the Bering Sea through Alaska and northern Canada to Greenland. These people were imaginative, artistic, hardworking, and believed in the ways of the universe and the power of good and bad. Their traditions and culture relate very closely to Siberian culture. Inuit myths and legends were majorly propagated through various dance and music forms. They boasted and highlighted the Inuit belief system while showcasing the authenticity of Inuit traditions. The Mother of Sea, or Sedna, is one of the most important gods in the Inuit mythology, who is said to have ruled over Adlevin, the Inuit underworld. Some myths state that her father, Enguda, is the creator god and the supreme being, but others describe him as a mere mortal. Number 7. Norse mythology. There are fascinating stories and complex characters in Norse mythology, so it is no surprise that there has been a resurgence in its popularity. We have everything from Marvel's Thor films to Neil Gaiman's American Gods, the book and the TV series, to Rick Riordan's Magnus Chase series. Norse mythology is native to the North Germanic tribe, although it belongs to the Old Norse religion. It continued long after the Christianization of Scandinavia. It consists of different folklore about deities, creatures, and heroes. The sources of these characters are scattered across the pre- and post-pagan periods. Norse mythology represents a complex belief system, including the stories and concepts of various deities and their potential afterlives. It also gives us a great insight into their culture. The legend depicts a warrior and naval-based culture. Honor is the highest on their priority list, with very little attachment to the fear of dying. The supreme deity in this mythology was also known to be the greatest among all the Norse gods. He was known as Odin, the All-Father of the Aesir, portrayed as the awe-inspiring ruler of Asgard. He is depicted to be on his unflinching quest for knowledge. He is shown to be accompanied by his 2 ravens, 2 wolves, and the Valkyries. Number 8. Roman mythology. Many Roman cultural beliefs and traditional elements have been borrowed from Greek culture. Many religious ideologies and representations of deities overlap between the 2 mythologies. However, Romans still have a lot to call their own. Roman mythology is extremely ancient and holds its relevance in the cultures of Etruscan, Latin, and Italian populations. It was polytheistic, and Romans believed these deities laid the foundation of Roman civilization. Therefore, they worshipped these gods and goddesses for the betterment and growth of Rome's people's lives. Romans were highly religious and held their pride in the fact. They worshipped and paid their respect to the gods in public and in their personal spaces. As a result, there were many decorated altars and buildings to the name of Rome's main gods and goddesses. The main gods worshipped by Romans were Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. Jupiter was honored as the protector of the kingdom or the country. He was revered for the well-being of the young and old alike. Juno, the Roman equivalent of Hera in Greek mythology, was known to be the female guardian of all the women in Rome. She was the goddess of childbirth, and all women worshipped her when distressed. Minerva was the god of war, handicrafts, etc. She is depicted with a spear and armor. However, when it comes to the most powerful gods, all Romans bowed their heads to Jupiter, who had many public places of worship built after him. Number 9. Hindu mythology. One of the oldest religions in this world, Hinduism is built on the banks of devotion and faith in the supreme power of God. It has been accepted as such a brilliant set of rituals and customs that it has now been termed a lifestyle. Hinduism originated in 2400 BC, when life was primitive and simple. Hindu mythology outlines complex customs and traditions that mark the lives of believers. With stringent laws and a celebratory touch to the religion, Hinduism rests its faith in many gods and goddesses. Although there are believed to be 33 core gods and goddesses that are worshipped, there are 3 main sects in India. Hinduism has been long-standing in the power of the divine feminine. Many scriptural and recorded pieces of evidence prove the worship of female energy. The sect in the Hindu mythology that worship feminine energy is known as the Shakta sect. From them, their supreme power is goddess Durga. She is considered a warrior goddess with the ultimate power to wield her weapons on the battlefield. Portrayed with 9 arms, seated on a lion, Durga represents female ferocity and pride. The other 2 sects worship Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, respectively. Lord Vishnu is known to be the preserver of this universe, with the celestial elements described as body parts. It is said that the entire universe is only a fragment of his existence. Lord Shiva, the destroyer of evil, is a god that represents sacrifice, asceticism, and detachment from the material ways of life. His devotees are known to practice meditation and connect with the energy in nature to experience enlightenment. And number 10. Chinese mythology. Chinese mythology is a collection of cultural history, folktales, and religious traditions, coming down the generations orally and through written evidence. It includes many facets: the creation of the universe and its different legends, the origin of the Chinese culture, and much more about the people and their administration are all part of the mythologies. It deals with moral issues and belief systems that spread awareness about their culture and values, and its followers consider to be a factual recording of history. Chinese myths originated around the 12th century BCE. For many hundreds of years, there was only oral storytelling that kept alive the mythologies. Shuizing Zhu and Shanhai are the sources of the myths we read today. There has been extensive interaction between Chinese mythology and the major belief systems of Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. It has borrowed a lot worth noting from other mythologies. Their belief systems had their foundation strong with the values and cultures imbibed. Shangdi is the Chinese term for supreme deity, or highest deity in classical texts, particularly in Shang theology and finding an equivalent in Tian of Zhao theology. During the Shang dynasty, the ruling elite of Huaxia regarded Shangdi as the ultimate spiritual power. He was believed to control victory in battle, harvest success or failure, weather conditions such as Yellow River floods, and the fate of the kingdom. Shangdi appears to have ruled over a hierarchy of other gods who ruled over nature and the spirits of the dead. The Taoist Jade Emperor and his celestial bureaucracy later mirrored or carried on these ideas. And with this, we come to an end for this video. If you enjoyed watching it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay mythical.